So I'm excited because the first time I did a podcast, this man was my guest. My first episode ever of Mind of Med, this man made himself available to me. And now that we are bringing Mind of Med, the podcast, back, I had to call him again. Dr. Tartt, how you doing, boss?
What's going on, Ahmed?
Man, I am doing excellent. I'm glad to have you on. It's been a while. Of course, I was on the Willie Moore Jr. show, and we talked every Wednesday, and we're going to continue to talk every week through this podcast. And a lot has changed since the first time that we've done this together on a podcast form. The last time I think I talked to you, we talked about R. Kelly and, what all that meant in 2019. Good Lord, a lot's changed. Yeah. He's in jail and he ain't getting out.
And everything we thought he did, unfortunately, was true.
It was true, and everything that we thought would happen happened. So that was in 2019. In 2021, things are a little different, man. Things are, social media is part of our lives. It is part of, the fabric of everything that we do in society. And we had an outage a couple of weeks ago. And it looked like everybody lost their mind when Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp went out. So we've been hearing things. There's been a young lady who came out and talked about it was a whistleblower talking about how Facebook knows these things that are going on, how they are negatively affecting young women, teenagers, adults. They know all of this, but they're not going to change anything because the bottom line, they're making too much money. So for you, Dr. Tartt, in how you deal with relationships and how you deal with people, what do we need to do when it comes to social media? Because it is affecting us. We all know it. We all know how it feels. On that day of the outage, I was still opening Facebook up knowing that it wasn't working. So it's like I had the reflex of going to Instagram and Facebook for no reason. I was just going and they weren't opening, and I kept on doing it throughout the day. So I know I'm like, oh, this might be a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, one of the reasons we do that is every time we search for information, it produces dopamine. And so dopamine is what makes us push that phone. We want some reaction. You see it with babies. Mm-hmm. With infants, as soon as they grab an iPad, if they can touch something and get some type of response, feel some type of power, you could have infants on there for 2-3 hours.
Right.
Young kids on there for 2-3 hours. And so as adults, we have to recognize that they already know that we have this need for information. Right. And even if it's information we don't need, like how to spell words that mean the same thing backwards and forwards, we'll click it, even though we have no interest in that. But something is interesting. That was one of the best days of the week was the outage, because no one in the house was on their phone. I wasn't on the phone. Wife wasn't on the phone. Oldest teenage daughter wasn't on the phone. Right. And so we were actually able to connect as a family. And I said, wow, I would like more of this. I did not miss the outage at all. Not one bit. I was able to be present with my family. All right. But let's just talk about it. One of the things that came out in the whistleblower that has been shown throughout the research, it is undeniable, is that Facebook, Instagram specifically, has absolutely decreased the self-esteem of teenage girls. Right. So almost any teenage girl who's on Instagram is going to feel less about themselves simply by being on Instagram. All right. And here's why. I want y'all to think about this. All right. So what the algorithm does is that it learns you. It learns you and it knows what you like, right? And so if I'm a teen girl and I like Khloe Kardashian and I like Kim Kardashian and I like so-and-so, they keep feeding you these videos of these gorgeous women, society's model of gorgeous women. I like my women, with a darker hue. I'm just unapologetic. I'm not knocking anyone, but not enough brothers who represent they're black sisters. I'm just saying. All right.
Yeah.
But these images are coming to our daughters over and over again, and they're comparing themselves. And then their favorite teen, right? So the most beautiful teen girl who's getting all the likes, right? She's coming up in your feed over and over again. And they're saying, wow, these teen girls like this. And so what's happening is what you see is what you'll be. Right. And so if you keep seeing these things over and over again, we have teen girls who are now using more filters. They are photoshopping their pictures. They're doing any and everything they can to look like the images in their feed. And it is hurting their self-esteem.
It's hurting their self-esteem. But, you know, the thing about it, Dr. Tartt, is I'm seeing adults doing it. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like every picture, like, and I'm talking about women that are attractive. Every picture is a filter, some kind of filter that is masking something. And it's like, are you doing this on purpose? You just like how you look like
it's the
this?
Comparison trap. You were fine. You were happy. You liked your body when you look at it. And then you got on Instagram.
Right.
And you saw woman A, B, and C. And you started looking and saying, maybe I do need to have some work done. Maybe I don't do. But you know what's interesting is that moms who have negative body image and check their appearance over and over again, evaluate it negatively, tend to transfer that to their daughters.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Because they're watching you. They see you. So, you know, an argument against this whole, you know, thing about, you know, making young girls feel a certain kind of way is, well, isn't that the parents, you know, job to make sure that the kids aren't on it like that they have a better image of themselves? Why are we putting it, you know, solely on Facebook and Instagram? And you know, why should they care? You know what I'm saying? That people compare themselves to each other. Because how can they change? Do they change the algorithm so that they don't see more people that they like to look at? Like,
yeah.
You know, how do you blame a company for that?
All right. Well, one, Facebook does not post. See, it used to be they posted things in chronological order. You saw whatever we used to post and get a lot more views, a lot more likes, see a lot more of our friends, see a lot more of our family because it would post. But what Facebook and Instagram has done is that they only give you the videos that you like the most, and they give you similar videos that you like. So you may not even see what your best friend is doing. You're only seeing 20, 30, 40 of this. Say, oh, you know what? Dr. Tartt loves Serena Williams. So guess what I wake up to? Serena Williams videos. Well, if he likes Serena Williams, then he's gonna like Rihanna. If he likes Rihanna, he likes Beyonce. And I can wake up as a grown man having temptation all in my filter when I'm really not looking that much. I'm not looking for these women as much as Facebook and Instagram are feeding it to us. So when it comes to teen girls, they're inundating them. They're contaminating their mind with these body images. So it seems like all the teen girls have these knockout bodies. All the adult women, all these women are making millions of dollars. Every man is a 7-figure guy.
Yeah.
Every black man, you know, you look at these gym videos, everyone's body look better than ours, right? I thought I had a 6-pack going on. I'm looking at these dudes doing sit-ups upside down with a chain around their neck. Right?
It's amazing. It's amazing. Like you bring that up. It's amazing how you can adjust what Instagram and Facebook feeds you. So once I started working out a little bit more, I started following guys that were doing workouts. And then a friend of mine, her husband is a trainer. So I followed him and it was liking his stuff and commenting on his stuff. All of a sudden, half naked men are all over my feed. And I'm just like, wait a minute. I was like, what just happened? Why am I getting all these muscular men in my feed? But it is like, once you start liking something, it happens almost within a day. Right.
So do you see
your whole system will change? I did it once with the political affiliations. Okay. So I was getting a lot of liberal news. I'm like, oh, let's see what the other folks are talking about. So I started liking, conservative hosts, conservative radio people, I just wanted to see what they were talking about. My feed changed.
You did.
So it didn't completely change, but it was more balanced. And I was just like, this is so interesting because it doesn't take weeks or months. It happens quickly.
And this is why it's dark. This is how these resurrections, QAnon, extreme Republican or Democratic views. This is the fear of the whistleblowers. I mean, if you really want to get into it, their biggest fear, if you really want to get into what they are afraid of, is not just our children. Because most people who are in social media don't allow, like the people that work at Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, they don't allow their children on social media because they know for a fact. But they also are afraid. This is going to blow your mind. I mean, do you know the number one fear?
What?
Civil war. Civil war. If anyone's ever watched Social Dilemma on Netflix, they break it down. So what's happening is that America is becoming more polarized. Matter of fact, China is taking advantage of this. Like they're coming against America because America is so distracted with fighting one another. Black lives matter, all lives matter. Republican, Democrat, extreme Republican, moderate Republican, extreme Democrat right now, moderate Democrat. You can't even get stuff passed because everyone's fighting. But what they're doing is the social media is sending you. So if you're a conservative Republican, guess what videos you're getting? Black folks jumping on police cars, black folks fighting, videos about black people taking over politics, taking your job in middle America. And so you're getting all these things in your feed. And guess what we're getting as black people? Cops beating up on black. It seems like it's happening every day. So if you see that in your feed, it's actually making you angry and angry, but it's not a true it's not a true characterization of what's going on. You just keep getting the same video over and over, and you're getting angrier and angrier and more polarized and more extreme based on the social media feed. But here's the darker part. Amanda, you'll notice this. If you ever take a break from Instagram, they are a social media. They know it. And they say, we have to get Alduan and Ahmed back. We have to get them back because they've taken a break and we're afraid they're going to leave us. They started inundating you with your favorite videos. So that girl, you've liked her, couple of her, all you see is her come up in your live first. She starts coming up first, but you haven't looked for this girl in 2 weeks. You haven't looked at a conservative post in 2 weeks. Now they're giving you the most extreme feeds because they're trying to draw you back in with these polarizing videos because they're saying, we know him. Let's make a friend that I used to talk to 3 months ago appear in his feed.
Yeah.
Right? An ex appear in the feed over and over and over again. And they know this. They're doing anything to get you to look. And it doesn't matter whether it's negative. It doesn't matter whether it's a boundary violation. It's your ex. It doesn't matter if it is a teen girl who shouldn't be looking at 19 videos of the most attractive influencers. They just go for views. Men who are trying to be faithful, they just inundate you with the most beautiful women because they know, man, he likes to look at beautiful women on Instagram.
Yeah.
And so you're like, wow, I just woke up.
And there they are. There they are.
And that's why
the conversation I saw that Trevor Noah had recently, I forget who he was talking to, but they were saying, like, if you actually log off and like stay away for a while, they start emailing you. And they start emailing you these, like, check what they did today. Check what they did today, because they're like, hey, I didn't subscribe to you guys emailing me. Matter of fact, I don't remember ever getting an email from you. But because you logged off, like, oh, no, we're going to get you back. Check this out. And because you're interested, you're like, let me just see what they're talking about. Boom, now you're back in. Now they got you in. And when you come back in, like you said, they give you the smorgasbord, the buffet of your favorite dishes right there when you log in. So we've talked about all the issues that you can have with social media, from politics, from division, from self-esteem issues. What do you tell people when it comes to how do you unplug? How do you unplug? How do you still be part of it without being driven by it?
I think you have to, first of all, you have to recognize what it does to you and know that you are being affected no matter what you may think.
Right.
All right. So realize, like, do I really want to sign up to be brainwashed? I mean, that's part of it. I know that's extreme, but you said, they're trying to brainwash me. They're going to put these things in my feet. Let me limit my time on social media. So that's one thing, limiting the time. Another thing is controlling your social media. Just because it comes in your feed doesn't mean you have to click on it. You can restrict some accounts. You can mute some accounts. You can start letting the algorithm work in your favor. I started liking all these religious videos. I was like, I need some more God in my feed. There's none in there. Used to be. Where'd it go? So I like Bishop Bronner. I like TD Jakes. I like Stephen Furtick. And then they'll start coming up more in your feed. And so you have to start searching. So part of it is taking social media and searching for whom you want. And I think in some social medias, you're actually able to say, hey, I want more of this, less of this. And we have to fight to say, we want to control our social media. I would actually like to see what my brother is doing more than once every 20 days and less about Serena Williams playing tennis, to be honest. All right. So, and then be able, I think you have to talk to your kids, your teenage daughters, and you have to kind of watch what they see and be able to talk about it. All right. And be able to assess what's going on.
Real quick, Dr. Tartt, on that subject right there. Teenagers are weird. We've all been there.
Yeah.
we've all been teenagers. We've all had that, I want my privacy. I want my, I feel like my parents are all over me. I don't like my parents. Too many rules, things like that. So how does a parent, because I know some people feel, I'm not your friend. I'm your parent. I'm not one of your little friends. You have that. Then you have the other parents who want to be the best friends of their kids. So they get away with a little too much. In your opinion, what is the best way to handle talking to your kids about social media without having them look at you like you're crazy?
Well, you want to look at it. We wouldn't let our kids watch TVMA shows on Netflix. We won't let our kids watch rated R movies. Back in the day, we still don't let them do that. We don't let them watch pornography. We don't let things that are misogynistic, but if we're not looking and spot checking their social media, you have a right and you should spot check your children's social media and be able to talk about it. Don't do it just to punish them because they're just going to sneak and do it or they're going to feel judged. Right. So, hey, what do you think about this video of I saw one slap a teacher? Where was the girl that slapped the disabled teacher? Yep. How was that funny? You laughed. I saw you put a like emoji on that. Talk to me about that. What is this doing to your character? Look at these challenges. Do you really think it's funny? Some of these challenges are hurting people, right? So, hey, I noticed this kid fell down the crate challenge, do you feel compelled to do that? Do you think it's funny watching people break their ankles and legs? Why are we laughing? So we have to engage our youth in what they're seeing. Why? To get them to process it. This is how we're losing our compassion. We're looking at so many negative things and it's normalized that we're losing compassion. So with the crate challenge, we thought it was funny. Right? With people breaking their ankles, breaking their head. I saw one that offended me where this woman was climbing up and a guy came and pushed the whole thing over.
Yeah,
right?
That's evil.
Evil. But it had a million views. People are sharing it. And so what's happening is that we have to police it. Since social media won't police it and say, hey, this is inappropriate. The Karen videos, this is inappropriate. The fighting videos, this is inappropriate. Women half naked, this is inappropriate. Guys saying negative things about women. If that's all in your son's feed, you don't think that he's being affected. So we have to fight against the machine and say, hey, in real world, this is how things are going to be done. And I need you to limit the people that you follow to have good character.
I mean, what I liked about that is you basically saying, have a conversation. I think what the problem is with a lot of parents that try to lead their children into a certain way, they don't have conversations. They just dictate.
Yeah.
And when you dictate and when you police your kids, they're going to treat you like the authority as in, I'm going to hide things from you. I can't talk to you about these things. But if you're having conversations and asking them questions where they engage you, because the thing is, if they think that you're bothering them all the time because you're policing them, they don't want to talk to you. They're going to give you the easiest answer to get out. But if you have a conversation with them, like, hey man, like you said, what do you think about this video right here? You know what I'm saying? I saw that you liked it. You know what I'm saying? And then even if you check their phones, make it like, hey, phone check. I'm just checking it. You know what I'm saying?
Let's talk.
I told you this is what we're going to do. You know what I'm saying? If you want all this is what comes with it. Phone check. And instead of like, what's this and this and this, you can have the conversation with them instead of policing them. So you can still police them, but with conversation and love.
This is a TV. So like we monitor what our kids watch on TV. We have blocks. Right. We have blocks set up on the TV. So you log in to certain things you can't watch, right? You put in codes to watch certain shows if you're really sophisticated. But when we see the phone, we see this as absolute privacy. to our kids. And that's where we go wrong, because this is the TV. They can watch Pornhub on this. They can watch whatever they
want.
And if we're not policing it, think about, and we'll wrap up with this, but think about kids being unsupervised in school, all the things that happen. We don't allow kids to be unsupervised at school. We can't be unsupervised at work, to be honest. Everything would happen, and we have this phone where the world is happening in a pandemic, where many parents had to encourage their kids to get on social media because that's where their friends were. You weren't playing with them. You weren't seeing them. You weren't interacting with them. Right. And so we kind of drove kids towards this. And now we have to detox them from their phones and be able to relate to real friends, real time, face to face, with no phones. The average teen can't even talk without making the phone the base. Look at this video. Look, no, put the phones away. And you'll see a lot of teens actually struggle to talk because they feel like they need their phone to converse.
In my chat group, they said we're the last people, to be able to have conversations, because social media has killed conversations. We don't know how to talk to people in person anymore. Because we grew up, we had to, but these kids are growing up without it. They're growing up with social media. Their whole lives, think about it, even from the parents' point of view. My son has been on social media since he was born.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't even a day old. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't even an hour old and he was on social media. That's my fault. But still, you know what I'm saying? These kids' lives have been documented from the minute they were born to now, to whoever they become, after that.
Yeah. And it's going to hurt their skills.
It's so important that we make sure that we're taking care of our kids and showing them different kind of ways of communicating. Before I let you go, Dr. Tartt, I talked about this earlier on the show. A friend of mine asked the group chat, right? He's like, did you guys have a curfew or bedtime on the weekends growing up? And I was like, no. Like Friday and Saturday night, the rule was don't make too much noise. Don't wake up, because if you wake us up, everybody got to go to bed. That was the rule. And he's like, okay. He goes, some of his coworkers have a 9-year-old and a 13-year-old, and said the 13-year-old and 9-year-old have a bedtime. I'm like, well, hold on. What is a bedtime? He said between 9 and 9:30. I'm like, whoa. That's a bit much, in my opinion, especially for the 13-year-old. Dr. Tartt, do your kids have a bedtime on the weekends?
Yes and no. It depends on what's going on. All right. So if we're going to church, absolutely.
So that's Saturday night. So
Saturday night, you can't stay up all night, But with my teenager who's 15, as long as you wake up bright and chipper and you're not yawning and you're ready to go and you have a rock star attitude for church, I don't care if you go to bed at 3 a.m. All right. However, I did have to go in and grab her phone because I found out that she was on the phone from like 11 to 2 and she was sleepy. She just couldn't stop looking at it. All right. And most of her friends were online. Right. It wasn't that she was looking at anything inappropriate and she wasn't getting the proper rest, especially as a student athlete. And so what happens, especially even with our 5-year-old, had to start putting her to bed because we just like, you go to bed and we go to bed. We had to start putting her to bed earlier because what would happen is come Monday morning, she didn't want to wake up for school because she had lost all of that routine.
Right.
So you have a 5-year-old going to bed at 11 or 30, and then supposed to be up the next, but they just lost 3 hours of sleep.
Yeah, no, I know. So, I completely get it. Because my thing was, I said that when it comes to going to bed, especially when you hit that 12, 13, 14-year-old age, that was the first time in our lives that we had to make an adult decision. We had to make an adult decision. And I'm like, but I didn't really have a bedtime at 13, 14. The rule is you got to get up. You know what I'm saying?
It's really about rest. It's really about rest. It's like we have to value rest for our kids. Our kids are not getting enough rest. They need, anywhere from 8 to 10 hours, depending, and even younger, they need more. So we have to make sure that we value rest. And I'm also a proponent because when do you spend time with your husband or your wife, right? They can't be up all night, all the time.
It's impossible.
See you later. You can chill in your room. You can retire to your suite and daydream if you want
to.
But your mom and We're gonna watch Squid Games, which is inappropriate for children. We're not finna watch Disney all day. You feel me? Well, I'm not finna watch Coco Melon all day. I'm just not gonna do it. I'm gonna watch
Disney Juniors.
Monday
I'm so tired of Disney Junior.
Right.
Disney Juniors be on my TV. Every TV I turn on, Disney Junior. I'm like, has he been in every room in this house watching TV?
Right.
Because it's the last thing that's on every show. Dr. Tartt, I appreciate you. I appreciate these conversations, and we will continue this next week. Let the people know how they can follow you on social media.
Yeah, follow me on Instagram. Isn't that funny? Follow me on Instagram. Just got to finish talking about it.
Please,
at Dr. Tartt, at Dr. Tartt. But let me not be a hypocrite. Go to my website, y'all. Go to the website, all right, which I control. All right, drtartt.com. That's DRTARTT.com. That's drtartt.com. DRTARTT.com for everything you need when it comes to relationships, mental health, and wellness for the family and adults.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tartt. We appreciate you here on The Mind of Med. Thank you so much.
God bless.